Energy, electricity, the dynamo of any economy, the passport to economic transformation, and one of the foundations for any society in the provision of education and health. And yet, as we begin 2016, over 645 million Africans, some 2/3 of the people on the continent, have no access to energy.
Ça coupe à tout moment, matin, midi, soir, il n'y a pas d'électricité. Donc on a un problème d'électricité.
Il y a beaucoup de familles, il y en a trop. Il y a beaucoup de familles qui n'ont pas de courant, qui vivent sans ça, qui sont obligés d'allumer des bougies. Et ceux-là même qui prennent feu, souvent, qui brûlent les maisons parce qu'il n'y a pas d'électricité.
That's why the African Development Bank has launched the New Deal on Energy in Africa, a transformative partnership to achieve universal access to energy in Africa by 2025. The bank is already a huge player in African energy, and under the New Deal it will do even more. Every dollar of its own can attract 4 times as much from the private sector. The New Deal is about much more than the African Development Bank. It's about mobilizing political will and financial support to solve Africa's energy challenges. It's a response to the challenge of mobilizing domestic and international capital to meet the financing needs of Africa's energy sector.
It will take us roughly about $50 billion a year to fix this problem. Where can the money be found? We can find the money in Africa. First and foremost, if Africa ended illicit capital flows out of the continent, it can easily generate every year $60 billion. That will solve the problem. If African countries simply increase the share of their gross domestic product that goes to the energy sector from the current level of 0.4% of the GDP to 3.4% of the GDP, that will create roughly $50 billion a year, and that solves the problem.
The raw ingredients are there. In addition to Africa's sizable reserves of gas and coal, there is a wealth of unused renewable resources in solar, hydro and thermal energy. So the challenge the continent faces is to transform this huge potential into actual supply. The mechanics of the New Deal are as huge as they are necessary. They include setting up the right energy policy environment, laws, regulation, governance, building the capacity of national energy utility companies, launching bottom-of-the-pyramid energy access programs, accelerating major regional energy projects. Lighting up and powering Africa is a moral imperative, and it's also an economic imperative.
We need partners to work with us. That's what the New Deal on Energy for Africa is. That's what the Transformative Partnership on Energy for Africa is. Working with others to make this happen. The Africa Union has what they call the Africa Power Vision, which is very exciting. We have today the Africa Progress Panel report, which shows that Africa can actually power itself. The Sustainable Energy for All of the United Nations Secretary General. The US President has the US Power Africa initiative. The private sector is also very, very important. The African Development Bank will also work with the African Energy Leaders Group, which is very, very exciting to mobilize private capital for us. We will work with everyone. We will work hand in hand, because the task ahead of us is one that we can do and one that we must do.
This is not a charity. They will make money in investing in renewable energy in Africa. Hydro is a good proposition in investing in. Solar, you make money out of solar, you make money out of geothermal.
So what Power Africa does is we try to identify those obstacles, and we have this toolbox of over 120 partners, both public and private sector, to help overcome those obstacles.
Post-transformative partnership on energy for Africa, spearheaded by the bank, has the potential to light up the region and transform our societies.
The bottom line is that hundreds of millions of Africans need more from all of us if they expect to have consistent access to electricity in their lifetime. And it will take a concerted effort by government, business, international organizations, and NGOs alike to make it happen.
The New Deal on Energy for Africa, a transformative partnership to light up and power Africa by 2025.